All right, we are live. I am going to go through some questions here, and I put up in the title, "Where will you be in 6 months?" because I wanted to talk about, what you are doing in your business. What are you doing to make change, to do things differently? Do you have a good direction? I'm just seeing, who's coming on and if you have questions. So I wanted to find out, and I'm going to sort of talk about this, but obviously if you're watching the replay, you can still send me a DM and ask questions as well. And so I wanted to talk about this in the context of what are you doing in your business to make a difference? Like, what has changed? What is new? And I wanted to go through that in regards to my roadmap program, which is closing tonight at 9 p.m. and whether you had any questions. And so I'm going to go through the frequently asked questions, unless other people have particular questions they want to ask, and I can answer that as well. So I thought I'd jump on here and go live, talk to you about it in general. What are some things that people have been asking? What have I been getting in DM? What have I been getting? I've had a few Zoom calls about it, all that sort of stuff. And I guess the thing is, do you have a plan? So the title I put on there, where we be in 6 months' time? Like, do you have a plan? Do you know what it looks like? Do you have goals for that particular time? Do you have things in place for you? Like, okay, by then I want to be doing this, or I know what I am aiming towards, so I know what I need to work on each day to be able to achieve that. And that's a big thing that I anyone who's been my webinars, my trainings, my programs, anything like that, I do love my numbers. And I think having knowing your numbers and understanding what your numbers are in your business, whatever the analytics you're looking at any particular time, means that you've got something to focus on. So by knowing your numbers, by knowing what your goals are towards those particular numbers, and direction and specific things you're focusing on, then that helps you know what to do in your day-to-day of your business and what are the priority tasks. Like, do you need to figure out your manufacturing to get a better cost price for your product? I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. Do you need to focus on your website conversion because you've got good traffic but you've just got terrible conversion, so that's going to have the biggest impact? Do you need to source new stores if you want to have wholesale, if you want to wholesale your range? If you're a retail buyer, you have a retail store, do you need to really focus on your gross profit margin and really getting sell-through of your products fast as soon as you get them in store so you get that full margin? What are the things that you need to focus on in your business? Do you know that or not? And so where will you be in 6 months' time if you don't know that, is my question. Now, I wanted to go through, as I just said, some frequently asked questions for what people have come up with, when they're coming into the roadmap, whether they want to come into my roadmap program or not. So I'm just going to click onto my browser because I wanted to cover some of the questions. So I've got them all listed here. All right, so one thing people say, why I've done courses, why would I join? I've tried courses before, I'm sick of them, I never finish them properly, and I just don't want to start something new. I've already got the 3 other things that I feel bad that I haven't finished. Believe me, that is me as well. And I guess that's where I've tried to be different, tried to have something different. So it's not just a program, and I offer the coaching because I know that it's hard to be self-motivated. I myself struggle with that. So I know something to turn up to, something to show up to in terms of a live event, or where I know I've paid for, this group coaching, I actually get access to the person who I've paid for the coaching with. I want to make sure I show up, and I know that it can have an impact on my day, further on the day. My necklace just came undone. Let's take that off. I know that can have an impact on my day and my week if I've turned up to particular coaching because it's inspired me, or it's given me direction, or it's giving me, okay, this is what I need to be doing right now. So that's why I've added those sort of elements to my programs, and it's not just the program in itself. This particular option, the roadmap, has got the full coaching in there. So that's why it is a course. Yes, there's modules because yes, there are some things to learn, and I often repeat the same things again and again when I do my one-on-one sessions with people. And so I came up with this program because it's the same thing that I was doing again and again and again in my one-on-ones. And I was able to see, the specific things that certain businesses were doing when doing well had what impact that had on them. Therefore, other people could learn from that too. So that's why that's been added in there. So of course you definitely have modules to go through. There is resources and things to draw from and pull, but it's definitely not just a course and not just something that you do self-paced, because I've added that other stuff in. Okay, another question that comes up is, what sort of businesses is it for? So this is talking about the roadmap specifically, and just to give you an idea of some variation of different types of people who are in there, we've got retail stores, so physical retail stores. If you've got a retail store, it is not something you have to do alone. Believe me, I know how hard that is. I've done that myself, and it is not something you have to do. You know, you need support, because it's tough. It can be really hard. There's so many decisions, so many things to think about, so many different levels of hats you have to wear in your business. So definitely retail stores. That is a really big area that I think, you know, there's room for people to get support there. I think that's a big area. And then based on that, the brands who come in, so everyone who comes in is, first of all, it's specifically for product-based businesses. I should have said that first. You have to have product. It's all about product, this particular roadmap. I work with clients separately, one-on-one, if they don't have product, service-based, but this is for product-based businesses. So retail stores and brands, who the brand should be online. You should have an e-commerce store, or you should sell your product at markets, or you should sell your product wholesale into retail stores, but you should definitely have a product. And you might be wanting to add one of those sales channels to your business. You're like, okay, where do I get started? I do have a wholesale program specifically that you can just get separately, but I do, in my roadmap program, it's got everything in there in terms of, it has the wholesale program, it has sales guides for how to get on Etsy, it's sales guide for how to maximize your market. It's got sales guides on, what your website should look like, how to boost your conversion rate, how to use email marketing. All of those things are in there. So it's really about having a product. Whether you've got jewelry, whether you've got art, whether you've got a product that, even if your product has not launched to market yet, I've found that the program actually is a really good foundational elements for everything to do. Now, it's not there to help you figure out what product to come up with. I don't do that. I don't cover, sourcing products from, drop shipping or Alibaba or anything like that. I definitely can help with that supply chain and manufacturing in terms of where to find people, where to look, how to get a better deal, stuff like that. But it's not about figuring out what your product is going to be. You should have the concept of a product. It doesn't matter if you haven't launched to market, but you should have the concept as well already. All right. And whether you've been going for 1 month or not even yet, or whether you've been going for 20 years. I've had people who have been in the program who've had their business for 15 to 20 years, and they come in because they want to learn new things all the time. They're like, I've been doing this for a while. I need to learn new things all the time. I need someone who's on top of what's happening in trends, what's going on with, websites, what's going on with marketing these days. Who can help me with that? So it doesn't matter if you've been going, 1 month, as I said, 1 day, or 10 years, there's still information in here. I will say, if you're at that level of probably, 200, 300, 400,000 in your brand, then you might want to think about my mastermind, which is that next level program. If you are a retail store and you're at the $1 million already, then you might want to think about my my mastermind program as well. That's at next level. That's coming up shortly. We're about to launch that as well. But if you are under 500,000 for a brand, then the roadmap is the that elements that's going to cover everything you need to get your foundations even, more refined, grow your business, tweak things, get profitable, be sustainable, and then also go to that next level. So, go to the multi-million, so $1 million business and multi-million-dollar business. So there's things you need to be doing when you're at that level that's different if you're obviously at 50K, sales. All right, so other things. Let me just go through my list. I've done that one. If it's right for you, or if you're not studying, if anyone has any questions here, just throw them in the chat too. I can cover it as we go. Okay, do you cover wholesale? That was a question people ask, and I did cover that a tiny bit a minute ago. Yes, there is a whole deep dive into wholesale, because I have a whole separate program on wholesale, which you get in the roadmap, but it really dives deep into that, because if you're a brand, I believe that you need more than one sales channel. I believe that you need to have more than one marketing channel, and I believe that they can all play, together with each other as well. So how to do that is what we go through quite, in detail in here. Sales and marketing strategy, really mapping out, refining out what it looks like to run a business. And wholesale, I think, is a big part of it if you've got a brand, because I don't think you can just sell on your own website. I think that is really hard to compete with pricing for customer acquisition. Wholesale can give you different things that D2C can't. And I believe that it's a really big thing that you should be having both if you've got a brand. If you obviously are a retail store, then we really cover making sure you've got those two channels working in your physical store as well as your online store as well. And if you've got a pure online store, then that's something we can definitely work on as well, with all the different strategies in there as well. All right. So I just mentioned that if you are looking for e-commerce help, this isn't just an e-commerce program, but we cover in here what your website should look like, what are the components of the website, how to make sure it's maximized, how to increase your average order value, how to increase your conversion rate, how to get people to your store in the first place, what does the traffic look like, what does your customer journey look like, what does your unboxing experience look like, the whole thing of running a product business. So time period, good question. There isn't a time period in terms of you've got self-paced, and so the roadmap program, what's inside there, you get lifetime access to that. Like, until I no longer have this particular business, you'll have full access forever, and any updates, you'll get all of that as well. And then I've had some people go through it in 2 months. Some people are, gone through it in 6 months. Some people have gone through it in 12 months. Some people have been in there for 12 months and not even finished half of it because they just didn't need they only took what they needed from it. Like, not everyone finishes the whole thing. That's okay. You can go through at your steps and your stages, and some people are like religiously consuming. And I'm going to go through a little tour in a second, actually, what it looks like in terms of how it's laid out. But so no, there's no set time limit that you have to go through it. The group coaching is for 12 months because I used to have that, just 2 of them for 2 months. And I was like, that's not enough. I know now that needs to be more. So that's why I've given you 12 months in there, so that whether you do the program and then you come to the call, or whether you just come to the calls, like, everyone's different, depends on what they're after. But there's I will refer to the content a lot in the calls and say, hey, this is where you can find that. This is where you can get that. Oh, you got a question about that? This is where you dive deeper into it in this sort of section and stuff. So no time limit. You get lifetime access to the roadmap. In the membership, which is the 12 months group coaching section, I add stuff to that regularly, and that is just a 12-month thing. So then I've sort of separated out a little bit so that the roadmap doesn't become overwhelmed with too much in there, because I do like, giving more and more, and always adding more stuff in there. But that is in the membership, so it's not overwhelming as well. All right. Do I cover Facebook ads? That's come up a bit. We cover how to set up a Facebook ad and what it looks like, and I have guest speakers come in and help with that as well. But we don't, we don't have heaps of stuff in there on it, like how to manage it ongoing. It's not a Facebook course program, but we definitely cover it, because I think Facebook ads are an element that needs to be mastered and needs to be understood and used in the mix of your marketing mix as well. So definitely we cover Facebook ads, but it's not a deep dive into Facebook ads, but I show you how to set them up and what it should look like as well. Someone else, like, lots of people ask this question. I've got a young family, I've got work full time, I have other responsibilities. I don't have time to do this. And I guess that's where it depends if you want to keep learning. There's always new things to learn and to pick up on. And if you're running a business, I think it's imperative that you're always learning, you're always evolving, you're always taking some time to work on the business and not just in it all the time. So you might use 1 hour to 2 hours a week to go through and go, I'm going to focus on this little section, and I'm going to master this little area, and I'm going to sort of implement as I go in that time. So I would ask, I think everyone's got time. It depends on what other stuff you're doing. And I know everyone's busy, but whether you're spending time on the right things as well. And I would say that achieving mastery of your sales and marketing and understand how to do those things better is always going to be a benefit to you and going to give you that long-term skill set that you can apply no matter what your business is, or if your business evolves or you working in a different area anyway. So mastering this is really important, and I think it's an important thing to spend time on. And so if you're busy doing too many things, then it's about, managing your time differently. And that is why I've added also time management in here, because it's such a big factor for a lot of people. And of course, everyone is in different situation, lifestyle, age of your children. If you have children, you might work part-time or full-time, or you might have other things that you've got to, demand your time. So everyone's going to have different inputs and things that they're going to be able to achieve. Then I guess that's where you can't compare yourself to other people. You've just got to know, what can I do to get better? What does my numbers look like? How can I improve them? What do my sales look like? How can I work on that? What can I do on my business, and not look at, get distracted by other people, because you are where you are right now, and everyone has got different demands. And, when I had young kids, I had different demands than when I have older teenagers now. Things change and things are different. But I think there's always time to work on your business, and you should allocate time for it. So that's my answer to that. But also I do help you with knowing where to outsource, where to get help, and what to, what to do in terms of, especially if you've got a retail store. I know I've been that person. I've been, busy all the time, working in the business and working on the business on the nights and all that sort of stuff too. But it is, where do you get help? How can you outsource some things in your life or your business to help you get back a little bit of time as well? And then overwhelm comes into it too, because you're like, I've got so many things to do. I don't know where to focus. And so this sort of gives you that guardrails as well, the roadmap, because it's sort of like, okay, this is where we start. We go down this path and we take that path and then we go down there, as opposed to I could do any of these things and I'm not sure where to start and it's freaking me out and I don't know what to do. The overwhelm comes from you not having a focus, not having action plan, not knowing the specific things that you're working on. That's when overwhelm can come in too, because you just don't know where to start. So this gives you that guardrails and guidelines as well. All right. A few people have asked, what's the tech? How much do I have to know myself? I definitely pride myself on the fact that I can teach things. I've been teaching for, how old am I? I've been teaching for probably nearly 30 years. I used to be a swimming teacher. I used to be a movement teacher I used to be a personal trainer. I used to be a, what's it called? Not gymnastics, aerobics, sessions. So funny. I used to be a gym instructor. I've been a school teacher. I have been a lecturer. I have spent my last 30 years teaching and coaching and instructing. So I definitely pride on myself on that breakdown of being able to show you how to do something without it being overcomplicated, and also simplifying procedures and following directions. So I think that's definitely, I didn't probably really even realize that was a skill until, more recently. I've been doing that for a long time, and I guess it does come naturally to me in terms of that instruction side, because I've been teaching for a very long time. And I know now everyone has the same skill set, and I know everyone needs different information. And so I will give that to you, and you obviously may skip ahead if you know certain things, but I'll be very specific in detailed instructions on how to do stuff, because that's what lots of people need. So, and I do want you to be able to do some things yourself, and I'm very self-taught in a lot of things as well. So I've just sort of, worked my way around how to do stuff too. Okay, someone's asked, or someone has before, I've got that on my list, what is your experience in this area? As I said, I've been in teaching for a very long time. I've also been in retail and wholesale. So my parents had a shop when I was 10 years old. So I've been working in that sort of business for a very long time. I have always worked in retail as a salesperson as well. Excuse my dog, sorry. I have also done Worked for other companies, worked for product businesses. I've been a national sales manager for a product company. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of brands on their growing their business, developing their website. I used to be a social media manager. I used to be a graphic designer, doing all my social media and all that sort of stuff too. A bit of everything, but I've really been, and I've had my own retail store and own brand for 9 years and the brand for 15 years. So done all of that in terms of being the person, doing these specs, doing the sourcing, manufacturing, calling, to get stockists, managing the business, managing the relationships, all of that sort of stuff. I've done all of that already for many, many years. So I've sort of, had the retail, had the wholesale, had the brand, worked in corporate, all the different areas over, because it's, 25 years or more. If you only have an online store, that is okay as well, definitely, because we really focus on how to grow that and what your profit margins are, understand your numbers, stuff like that. And then, how quickly can you get results? That is a tough question. How much can you, implement? How much can you change? How much can you take away some information and start putting action into place? So that's a tough question to answer. But what I will say, there's no magic one pill that you do this and then everything will be fine. It's about looking at your business and going, well, what's your profit margin? Okay, let's start there. How can we impact that? How can we change that? Where do you sell? Okay, let's look at your different sales channels and see what's lacking or what you can grow or what you're doing to, how can you move them through faster? How are you marketing your business? What does that look like for you? Okay, well, how can we tweak that and change that if this is what you're doing right now and that's not working? Let's look at your numbers. Let's focus on that. What's the small percentages that you can make? I think the thing is, my husband works in sport and I've been around it for a really long time, and understand that it's all the 1%ers that make the difference. It's all the little things that make a difference. I think it's the same thing with a product business. It's, how can you increase your conversion rate 1%? How can you get your customers to return rate to go up a little bit higher, 5%? How can you get your margin 1% better? How can you have, every little product that you sell in your retail store, how can you tweak your margin slightly? All the little things add up and can have a huge impact. And so that's why I don't focus on one thing, because it's just not something that I can do. Probably you can tell the way I speak in here as well. It's just, I'm just not going to focus on one area. Like, I'm not just going to be just wholesale, because when I started doing my wholesale program, I'm like, okay, but you've got your wholesale program, you've got your wholesale sorted, but how are you selling the rest of your, how are you selling your product in other ways? How are you marketing yourself? Because you can't sell as well through wholesale if you're not marketing yourself direct to consumer very well. How can you actually make a profit if you don't know what your numbers, you don't have the right stock levels? All of those things really have an impact. So that's where it'll just be something that I think you need to work on all the areas. Why my program is this full package program, holistic view. It's not just one little thing, because as a product business, I think it's really important to have all the areas ticked off. And that's what I want to help you work on, all the areas, not just your sales, not just your marketing, but your financials and your sell through and your stock management and relationships and all that sort of stuff too. All right. If you have any questions, pop them in. My question at the start is, where will you be in 6 months' time? Because what are you focusing on? What are you actually doing in your business? Do you know what your direction is? Do you know what you need to do first, second, third, and so on? Are you overwhelmed because you're just doing everything and not just focusing on, one thing at a time? Are you overwhelmed and exhausted because you're doing everything in your business? So that's something that I think everyone should have a little think about and understand. And then, definitely let me know if you have any questions, particularly about the roadmap. I'm just going through and answering questions. If anyone wants to get access, you can just comment roadmap and you will get the link to all the information to join as well. So make sure you do that if you're like, okay, I need to know more about this, I need to find out more about it, and definitely do that. All right, question. Oh, how long's the programming? What can I expect once I enroll? So once you enroll, you'll get access to the full roadmap program, and you'll get access to your bonuses, and the group coaching call sort of calendar is in there as well. You can add all those to your calendar straight away. I think we have like 3 or 4 booked in, and then we, do the rest of them in the next few months as they come up. And if anyone's like, I don't know if I can make the calls, they do change, the days change all the time. And if everyone was like, okay, I need to do a night call because, the time zone is not right for me, or I work full time, I'll add different things in all the time. So there's no sort of like, you won't get any access to that. You'll get access to it because I'm flexible. And also I suggest when you get in there and you get started, this is where you should start. This is your starting point. This is the way to what to do first and what steps to take, and also ask you for a form to fill out so I can see where you're at and give you that direction as well. And you get access to the Facebook group and stuff like that too. And remember, you get lifetime access. So that's definitely something too. Now, a lot of people say they don't have the cash flow. And so that is another reason why I added the 12-month option, because 12 months means you pay per month, and you pay the minimum, the initial amount that you invest is $222, and you can pay that for 12 months, or you can pay up front and pay the full amount to save a bit of money. But it's not cheap. It's not like, $20, here you go, you get this and you can get everything you need to run your business. I put a lot into it, and I update it all the time, and I give you a lot back as well. So it's, for me to be able to give the same amount back if I was doing the private coaching, it would be, 10, 20, 30,000. But I've made it 2,000 plus, a little bit, 2,200, I think 97, so that you get access to so much, and I can give you as much as, possibly can in those calls and group coaching and in between on DM or on Facebook, because I want to give people who are that, under 200K, they want to get to that level. They want to get to that next stage. So how do you do that? This is what I help with all those areas. So it's not cheap, but it's, I think it's a good investment personally. I know I broke it up so that it's 12 monthly, so that you can get going and start to generate money back faster than what you have to pay it off. So you'll definitely make your money back before you even have to pay it all off. And you can do that gradually as well. So that's in there. I do have new things in there as well, like, okay, well, how can we get 3K back fast? If you've already launched your product, what can we do to actually, generate more and generate that back quickly? That's definitely something I add in there and give you options for how to do that. So it depends on when you're watching this, whether the roadmap is still open or not. The roadmap closes tonight. It's now Tuesday, 30th of July when I'm filming this. It closes tonight at 9 p.m. And then it'll go back to waitlist. So I'll only open it a couple of times a year. Just depends, because I want to have people come through in the, as a group and as a sort of, I know when you've started, and I know that I need to service and help you sort of get going and underway and really get to know each business as well. So that's why I sort of do it that way. Otherwise, I'm sort of like all over the shop in terms of where people are coming in and where you're at and all that. So it is only open a couple of times a year. It's open tonight until 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is another 4 hours and 49 minutes. I've just realised I'm going to go, it's not for a little bit. I'm going to jump on Zoom at 5 o'clock today, if anyone wanted to have that interaction and actually ask me specific questions. So if you want to get access to that, just send me a DM after this, because I can just send you the link separately. But it will be at 5 o'clock today, which is just under an hour. If anyone wanted to join that, you can. You're welcome to join me there. And yeah, I hope that helps you. So any other questions, just throw them in the chat or send them to me afterwards, and I'll, reply as well. But we are going on this roadmap. Like, I've got people in there. I've got people taking action. We've got the trade show coming up this next weekend. And I've got a lot of my members in there that I'm supporting, to get their stand up, to actually have a huge, 4 days coming up in their trade show wholesale sales. We're talking about buying for buyers. I'm meeting up with my buyers as well, who are coming from New Zealand and coming from all over the world. So that's happening this weekend. So it's really, you can get going straight away. I wanted to, give you that option to get in before the trade shows and all that sort of stuff, because I'll be going away as well for another week in August. And really, where will you be in 6 months? Like, will you just be going, I should have done that? Where could I be in that time if I had taken action on that? Or, what can I achieve in that time? what can others achieve in that time, and where will they be? So I would love that for you to be the one who's like, yep, you know, testimonial. You send me back, Mel, this is what's happened, this is what we've done because we've worked on lots of things. I would love that to be you. And we're running in the roadmap, you know, whether you're in here or not. So I'd love you to be in there as well, joining me, joining the other people in the group, being part of the community that's in there. People meet up at markets, you know, they sort of catch up with each other. We're going to meet up at the trade show. There's definitely lots of community aspects in there as well. And yeah, this is for those of you who have a retail store or a product-based business and a brand, and you want to grow it to a sustainable, profitable business. You want to understand everything that you need to have in place, the foundational elements. You want to make sure that you're on the right track, that you're focused on the right things, and that you can achieve that, you know, goals that you're aiming for, or whatever it might be that you're aiming for. How can we make that happen? What does it mean to reverse engineer it? So, all right, I better go now. Definitely, oh, hello, Side Serve. Are you going to be at the trade show? Let me know. I look forward to seeing lots of you on the weekend. If I see you at the trade show, come up and say hello if you are going to be there, and get close, because my glasses, I don't always wear them, and I can't see very well. So make sure you come up, say hi. I would love to see you. If you listen to the podcast, let me know. A few people told me that last time, which was amazing. I loved hearing that too. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions about joining. Oh, you won't be this time. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about joining the roadmap, if you're wanting to know whether you know, can get into that and if it's right for you or not. I welcome your DM. I welcome, you know, come to the Zoom at 5 o'clock if you wanted to find out more about that as well. And let me know if you need the link. I'll send it through to you. And otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you soon. So hopefully that's been helpful, and that's all. All right. Let's turn it off.